serving up a warm dish of the Triads culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 144 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of March 9th through the 15th, 2020. My name's Tim Beeman.
My name's Ray Morgan.
And we're opening the recipe box. We're recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in Les Desirable Studio in the lab at Industry Hill. Find out more by going to industryhill.com. So I have very little really big, not big news, but happening news that is going on. Probably the biggest thing that's happened this week, and that's really the only thing I saw, Providence Kitchen in the BB&T Center is closing.
I saw that.
And
that kind of surprised me.
And well, I have statements from Chef Jeff. First of all, this is what is posted on the door at Providence Kitchen. Dear Providence Kitchen patrons and supporters, we want to inform you that March 13th, 2020 will be our last day of business for Providence Kitchen. Our partnership with BB&T, now Truist, on this not-for-profit venture was truly unique in this nation. We thank you for supporting this partnership and us. Together, we made our community better and stronger. We know that you will continue to support Second Harvest Food Bank, Providence, and the work that we do to make individual lives better and our communities healthy and hunger-free. We invite you to visit us at Providence Restaurant located at 5790 University Parkway in the Doubletree Hilton. We're sure that you will enjoy our extensive farm fresh menu offerings and the great service provided by Providence students and staff. See you soon, Jeff Bacon. So my mom, what happened, my mom on Thursday? Sorry, I had to take a swig. On Thursday, I was sitting at New Sichuan eating, and she said, "Did you see that Providence and Second Harvest Food Bank are closing?" I'm like, "What?"
It's not quite the story.
She just saw it on the scroll on the bottom. So, being friends with Chef Jeff Bacon, I sent him a text, and he says, "I'll send you the thing tomorrow. It's just the kitchen." And so, here's the actual final statement on the closing from the Second Harvest Food Bank. This is the official statement. After a year and a half of operations, Providence Kitchen at BB&T, a social enterprise of Second Harvest Food Bank's Providence program, will close on Friday, March 13th, 2020. Second Harvest appreciates the support of BB&T, now Truist, and others who invested to establish the restaurant, which served as an advanced training location for the Providence Culinary Training Program and platform for introducing food bank supporters to the life-changing work of Providence. Over the past 15 months, more than 12 individuals received valuable preparation for a career in the culinary arts while preparing fresh, delicious food for thousands of patrons. Providence Kitchen students and staff worked hard each day to create a great experience for our customers whose patronage supported our critical mission that is transforming lives, said Chef Jeff Bacon, Executive Director of Second Harvest Food Bank's Providence family of programs. I am pleased, I am pleased that we are able to offer each one of our current employees and students an opportunity to continue their learning or take a new position within our robust Providence Restaurant and Catering Enterprise at the Hilton Doubletree and Providence Community Meals at the Food Bank. Second Harvest's partnership with BB&T, now Truist, extends back many years and continues today through meaningful investments in our mission and dedicated employee volunteerism, stated Eric Aff, CEO of Second Harvest Food Bank. We did not come to this decision lightly, however. It is our obligation to ensure that we responsibly manage the resources entrusted to us by our donors and the community. Our commitment is to deliver vital food through our partner agency network to our neighbors facing hunger and provide people with the skills for a culinary arts career and pathway to financial stability. While Providence Kitchen had great success from a mission standpoint, the fact that its location was not as central as others in the downtown Winston-Salem restaurant scene, in combination with the relocation of a big piece of our customer base, made this the right business decision. Fortunately, we will be able to continue Providence's mission through the training program, our other social enterprises, and other opportunities that are in early exploration stages. The future looks incredibly promising. Excuse me. Eric Aft continued, "We look forward to continuing our partnership with BB&T, now Truist, as we seek to strengthen our work to address the urgent challenges of hunger and its root causes. As well, we want to invite all who have enjoyed Providence Kitchen to visit at Providence Restaurant. We're confident that you'll enjoy our extensive menu offerings and meeting Providence students and staff." Now, I do know that one of the proposed restaurant or culinary things that will go into the Union Station is a collaboration between Providence, Chef Bacon, and our friend Algernon Cash.
Oh.
So I don't know that they got it or will get it, but they are one of the 3 proposed locations to go in there. It's more nonprofit focused and still in the realm for the culinary training program or Providence culinary training that they do over there. So that could be something that comes up, and Chef Jeff never is one to just rest on his laurels. If there's an opportunity that comes up, he will certainly take it. Anything to better the folks at Providence Culinary Training and the mission that Second Harvest Food Bank perpetuates. And I don't worry at all about this closing. And what he said to me in a text was, "We saw it coming. We knew it was coming, but this was not our choosing," because they were actually doing okay. But when BB&T announced they are vacating the building, and it was really their restaurant, and Providence managed it,
right,
incorporating it into their training program. You know, when the company goes, it's hard to stay there. So they have to do something.
When your built-in customer base is no longer built in, then you drop back 5 yards and figure out what you're going to do. So
basically,
this is that whole merger between BB&T and SunTrust.
Yeah.
So headquarters being relocated.
Yeah, the headquarters are going to be relocated, but all the business facilities are still here in Winston. But what's happening is they decided that the new company policy will be that they only occupy buildings that they own. And they did not own this building. This was owned by 2 rich folks, one's which in fraud court. But but they own several buildings around town, and they are preparing to move all their operations of I think it was the business banking or financial. So I forget what it was, but they're moving all those from the big green building, One Triad Park is what it used to be called, to these outlying buildings that they actually physically own, including the park building. I don't know exactly where that is. I read it in an article, but I meant to look it up, but I was watching football. So
Providence has really been a bright spot in our community for what's possible when you approach the restaurant as more than just a profit center, but as an opportunity. What Chef Bacon has done with Providence partnered with Second Harvest and given folks a fresh start and a skill set that not only can they apply here in town, but I mean, if you know how to work in a restaurant, you can go anywhere in the world and find work. And how many restaurants now have somebody working for them that has come through Providence training?
A lot.
It's substantial.
Yeah.
It's substantial.
So the park building that I was talking about is at 101 North Cherry Street. It's the one. It's the big glass building there on the corner of First and Cherry. They own that. They spent 25 million or something to buy that 3 years ago. Plus they own the buildings over off of Stratford there at 5 Points. They own two of them. One where there is actually a branch, and the other one's an operations building. So
they
will
have
be
a large campus in Greensboro as well. So
yeah,
it's not like they have a small footprint here in the Triad.
yeah, and it's not like we had the headquarters anyway. That was there, but the actual banking center was in Wilson. So because I know people, because that's the only thing that's in Wilson.
I was going to say, there's not a whole lot going on in Wilson.
I have friends in Wilson, and the thing that I always think is funny about that is it could be like 90 degrees here, and it's 100 in Wilson.
Yeah.
It is like the armpit. It's like Montgomery County, Sanford. It's like the armpit of the state, and not just or maybe more Wilson's more like the ball sack, the sweaty one, on a hot day when you're wearing jeans, that kind of thing. Yeah,
it's the Schwitty balls.
Schwitty balls. Anyway, the Second Harvest Food Bank, Northwest North Carolina, and Chef Jeff always find ways to rebound and come back from these kind of things. So I am hoping that the next venture comes soon, especially when my son plans on going through the training program. So
yes, we want a place for him to go.
Yes. I didn't mention this last week, although I really should have. I did talk about it on the show notes on the blog post, so that helps. But don't forget that the March the 21st, that's not this Saturday, but next Saturday, and April 18th are the next dates for the hot dog tasting tour on the trolley.
Cool.
Yeah, and they start at 176 YWCA Way in Winston. And we'll visit. I know Kermit's will be the first stop, but nothing else is set in stone. They have a couple places that they've mentioned that they wanted to go. We'll see what happens with those. But
get a discount if
yeah. So it's $39 a person, but if you get 3 or more people to go and you buy the tickets at the same time, it's $35 a person. However, you can get $5 off if you enter MAN5, MAN5, in the checkout discount code, because that's my discount code, MAN5.
And it's a cool code.
MAN5. MAN5. Sounds like a code name for something from the 70s, doesn't it? MAN5.
Yeah.
There was, 60s was one Adam 12 and Adam 12, and then Car 54, and then Mannix and Emergency and Starsky and Hutch, and now it's MAN5.
Yeah, BR 549 was in there somewhere.
Yes.
Not quite the same as MAN5, but
so go to I think it's Triad Hot Dogs. Let me type it in. Yes, triadhotdogs.com, and that will take you to the page where you need to go to get your reservations. Again,
we have a rich
MAN5.
hot dog history.
We do.
In the Triad.
We do. I mean, we have
remarkable
Kermit's, we have Pulliam's, PB's, Doss's in Kernersville, Zesto, There's a couple more that may end up on here. So, yeah. And what's going to happen is you go. They're going to 4 places, 4 stops, and each person will get half a hot dog. So they make the hot dog and then cut it in half.
Yeah.
And they come standard. But if you want to buy one, you certainly can. But
Right.
I think 2 hot dogs is enough, especially spaced out, because it'll have time for it to settle between times. So, yeah, it'll be fun. I'm going on the 21st because the 18th is Record Store Day, and I'm camping out the day before. So I'm going on the 21st of March. April 18th is not, but they are doing it then. Of course, Carrabba's is doing 2 wine dinners. One is next Tuesday, the 17th, which happens to be St. Patrick's Day. And then the next will be the following Wednesday, the 25th. Not the following, but the next Wednesday. And here's what it includes. It's $45 a person. Spadino di Mar, which is their shrimp and scallops, coated with Italian breadcrumbs, wood grilled and topped with their lemon butter sauce, paired with Martini and Rossi's sparkling rosé. The Tuscan strawberry salad, mixed greens, fresh strawberries, toasted pine nuts, red onion, tomatoes, and crumbled gorgonzola in the strawberry vinaigrette, paired with Saint M. Riesling.
Well, that sounds good.
The Pollo Rosa Maria, wood-grilled chicken stuffed with fontina cheese and prosciutto, topped with mushrooms and their basil lemon butter sauce, served with grilled asparagus, which I would pass on, paired with Pion de Nova Super Tuscan. Yeah.
You'd be like, can I have some broccoli, some green beans, some cauliflower, anything?
Dirt would be better than asparagus, but and then finishing it off with limoncello bread pudding, warm brioche bread with rich creamy custard topped with vanilla ice cream and drizzled with Il Tramonto Tramonto limoncello liqueur, paired with the Riondo Prosecco. There is a link on the blog post that if you follow it, it will take you to the reservation page where you can see more about these and make your reservation there. Of course, you'll get to talk to Daniel, which is always the best reason to go. Even though the food is phenomenal, Daniel is extra phenomenal. I have a couple of things from Street Team Steven. He and I went to West End Poke the other day because he heard us talking about it, and we like to go to places we haven't been, so it turned out that was where we went, and he was a fan. He's done extensive traveling in the Asian countries, the Chinas, the Koreas, I guess, places like that, and he said the gyoza was spot on. That was right, everything that they said it was, and the actual poke itself, he said this is delicious and spot on. So
nice.
Yeah. And while listening to last week's show, he flagged a couple of things. Wormwood is now legal in the United States, and absinthe has been legal here since 2007. And both Lucid and Kubler absinthe have wormwood and are legal. And in talking about, when we were talking about the UK doing Brexit and all the currency stuff, he was right. And I wasn't thinking about this when I was actually, because I was over there not long ago. The UK does not need to change any currency because they never adopted the euro. They always kept the pound shilling. You could use the euro, but it's like when you go to the Bahamas and use the American dollar. They accept it, but that's not their preferred method of payment, So, the pound shilling, or pound sterling, I guess, is the form of currency, and euro will no longer, I guess, be accepted.
You'd think they'd still want to accept a major currency.
Well, you'd think. But, get some conversion rates and charge people to convert it. I really think, and he and I talked about this, I think that we're going to see another referendum about Scotland breaking off from UK because they wanted to stay because they wanted to remain in the EU. And then 2 years later, oh, we're leaving the EU. Wait, what? So, yeah, screw them.
Yeah, it's going to be curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah. All right, let's do some food holidays. Today is the 9th. It's National Crab Meat Day. And I don't know if that means imitation or real crab meat. I'm a fan of both. I actually like that haddock or whatever it is that's imitation crab meat. I think it tastes good. It's also National Meatball Day, and I am a fan of meatballs as well.
Swedish meatballs or regular meatballs?
I don't know that I've had real Swedish meatballs before. I like Italian meatballs or whatever they are, but I don't know that I've had real Swedish ones. I think I might have had some Swedish ones that were like microwaved or something.
Right.
Yeah, back when I used to do that. But it's meat.
It is interesting to see the differences in meatballs.
Yeah.
I, for a while, dated a lady that was of an Italian heritage. And her mom, when she made meatballs, they were the size of my fist.
Oh, yeah.
They're huge.
Yeah. There's a couple
I'm not
of places,
used to that.
There's a couple of places around town that still have those huge meatballs. And I'm like, how do you cook them all the way through? Without burning the crap out of the outside,
Right.
So, the 9th today in 1454. I don't usually talk about people being born, but I thought this was interesting. Amerigo Vespucci was born. He would have been 566 years old today.
Wow.
Italian explorer and cartographer. When I first read that, I thought it said choreographer, and I had to read it slowly. He was dancing around it. He was the first to realize that America was a new, previously unknown continent. Notice we didn't say uninhabited. It was just unknown.
Right.
German cartographer and mapmaker Martin Waldseemüller is
Say
first.
that again.
Waldseemüller Blücher is credited with the first usage of America on a map in honor of Amerigo Vespucci. In 1822, Charles Graham of New York received a patent for artificial teeth.
Fun.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess at some point somebody had to invent them because we keep breaking them.
this is true. And, was it Washington that had wooden ones?
Yes.
Can you imagine the smile he had? That's why I guess they never show him smiling. He was just grinning, or actually smirking. In 1839, the French withdrew from occupying Veracruz, Mexico, and the Great Pastry War ends. I think this is where the famous duel between the Eclair and the Pan Dulce happened.
I'm unfamiliar with such duel.
Yeah, there was no such duel. I was just saying. But it was called the Great Pastry War for whatever reason. In 1858, Albert Potts of Philadelphia received the first U.S. patent for a street mailbox designed to be mounted on lamp posts. They were soon used in Boston and New York City. So I think it was the blue ones that you see, not the ones that are like on the ground, but the ones that were mounted to the lamp posts. In 1949, the first all-electric dining car, the Cafe St. Louis, was put into service in the Illinois Central Railroad between Chicago and St. Louis, Missouri.
Cool.
In 1959, the Barbie doll debuted at the American International Toy Fair in New York City. So she is, 61? 61? Yeah, 59. I was born in 70. That's 61. 1964, the first Ford Mustang rolled off the assembly line. Yeah. In 1977, Canada banned saccharin as potentially carcinogenic, which
And
we have figured out that
cancer
it's not.
causing and
Yeah, it's not.
nasty.
It just sucks. In 2009, France raised the minimum age to purchase alcohol from 16 to 18 years of age.
those French.
I know.
Dang them.
I know. On the 10th of March, it's Blueberry Popover Day.
And what's a popover versus a turnover?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Popover versus.
We expect you to know all of this.
I think we talked
fount of
about
wisdom
this,
and knowledge.
We talked about this last year. The
That was a year ago. You expect
Yeah.
me to remember all
Yeah,
that? Wow.
the turnover is the act or result of overturning something, while a popover is a light hollow muffin resembling an individual Yorkshire pudding. Yeah, it makes not a damn bit of sense to me. So I want to say that they are close to the same damn thing.
But it's a muffin.
A muffin.
I like mine as a muffin.
I didn't vote for you, muffins. On the 10th, it's also National Pack Your Lunch Day. Which I say.
I don't usually have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I say no because I don't eat half-day-old food. In 1804, on the 10th, a formal ceremony was held in St. Louis, and we'll say it that way because it was transferring ownership of the territory included in the Louisiana Purchase Treaty from France to the U.S., and it was named after St. Louis, not St. Louis.
There is a difference.
There is. In 1862, on the 10th, the first U.S. paper money was issued. I guess it was all coins before then.
Yeah.
And
It would have had to have been.
Yep. In 1876, we talked about last week being invented, but Alexander Graham Bell's first successful experiment with the telephone happened. He spoke through the instrument to his assistant, Thomas A. Watson, in the next room, and Bell wrote, "I then shouted into the M," that's the mouthpiece, "the following sentence. Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you." To my delight, he came and declared that he had heard and understood what I said. And we've never
And
stopped
our lives
talking.
have never been the same.
We've not stopped talking since.
Some people should have.
Yeah. Probably me, but I enjoy talking. On the 10th in 1914, at the National Gallery in London, a suffragette / Diego Velázquez Rokeby Venus with a meat cleaver.
Oh,
Lovely. That was, I don't know how old it was at the time, but obviously very important. On the 10th in 1955, Aaron Bunny Lappin received a U.S. patent for pressurized containers designed to dispense his Ready Whip whipped cream topping, which he developed in 1948. So
again, our lives were never the same after that.
no, whippets, bring the whippets.
Whip it good.
In 1998, the U.S. General Accounting Office reported that food stamps were issued to almost 26,000 dead people in the 2 years prior. The study only covered 4 states: California, Florida, Texas, and New York. So there are 46 other states that we didn't test that we could have probably come up with a lot more than that.
Lot more.
On the 11th, it's 3/11, Oatmeal Nut Waffle Day and Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day. So our friend Krista Norton, that's her day.
There you go. We're so happy that she gets a whole day.
Yeah, indeed. Need to make sure she's aware of that if she isn't already. On the 11th, 1791, Samuel Mulliken of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, received a patent for a machine to thresh corn and grain. He also received 3 more patents on the same day, becoming the first person in the United States to receive more than 1 patent. No word on what the other 3 things were.
Yeah, now I want to know.
Yeah, I had to look him up and see. Incidentally, do you know what the first patent was in the
The
United
very
States?
first patent?
The very first patent number 1 in the United States.
No, I have no idea. Now I want to know now.
It was the a process to create potash.
Okay.
Which a lot of people don't know that, like the stuff that's when you burn wood and all that stuff, that's clean.
Charcoal.
That's clean. It's sterile. Because all the bad stuff's been burned off of it, right?
Right.
So you could use that in baking.
Huh.
And another a little bit of trivia, potash is where the word potassium comes from. Because potassium is in potash. So they say, oh, this is what it is. It creates this. It's potassium.
Interesting.
And many years later, because of its versatility, they stopped using potash so much and now use baking soda, which is kind of the same thing. So yeah, there's a little trivia for you.
I'd say our education has gone far and wide today.
On the 11th in 1818, Mary Wollstonecraft, I don't know how you say it, Wollstonecraft Shelley's Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus, was first published. So that's 202 years old this year.
That's pretty cool.
In 1888, in the northeastern U.S., the Great Blizzard of 1888 began 3 days of snow, wind, and freezing weather. Up to 4 feet of snow fell with drifts exceeding 20 feet, shutting down all communication and transportation. It's a lot
That's
of
a
snow.
lot of snow.
Yeah. I wonder, though,
That's a lot. Wow.
that stuff that happened in Boston, just a few years back, I wonder how much that was. Remember when it's like it was like June and they were still had mounds of snow that they had pushed up? I wonder how much that was. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
In 1918, on the 11th, the first U.S. cases of the deadly Spanish influenza was reported in the hospital in Fort Riley, Kansas. The pandemic killed more than 600,000 Americans and almost 40 million people worldwide. So now
A little worse than what we're dealing with today.
Yeah. And let this be a reminder to all of us to just a good practice, and not just for now, but always wash your damn hands. Wash with warm water and soap. It doesn't have to be antibacterial soap, just real soap.
Yeah. More than once a day.
Yeah, sing happy birthday whilst doing it, and you can get through it. Or, recite the opening to Star Trek, Space, the Final Frontier. If you recite that while you're doing it. Or, how about Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall? We don't need no education. Which I always thought was funny.
That was going to take me far enough.
Yeah. Well, we don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teachers, leave them kids alone. Hey, teachers, leave them kids alone. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. That will take you the length that you need. Or if you're into Toto, how about Africa? It's going to take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. Going to take some time to do the things that we never had. Ooh, don't forget that part.
Yeah, you got to have the ooh in there.
Yeah.
And you got to hit that high note.
Ooh, yes. I hit that often. Maybe every once in a while I actually hit it, but I try to hit it all the time.
Most of the time I just scare it.
Yeah. So what we're saying, which really quick back to the Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall. They obviously did need education because they use a double negative in that song.
Yeah.
We don't need no. Yeah.
We don't need any.
Yeah. Or we need
That's
no.
kind of the point.
We need no education.
That would have said it correctly, yes.
Yeah. So just wash your damn hands for a long period of time with soap and warm water. You don't need extra hand sanitizer because that only does half the job. You want to do a lot of hand washing and stop touching your damn face. How about that?
That's kind of hard to do.
Well, I know. Well, get some. If you feel like that you absolutely have to touch your face, get some tissues and use that.
Well, if you haven't been around anybody,
If
touch your face all you want.
Yeah, but still, I mean, just as good practice, try not to touch your face any more than you have to. Although, I like touching my face, because I like my face. I like stroking my beard. Wonder what's living in that.
Yeah. We don't want to know about that.
Yeah, you're right.
I think I see a chinchilla speaking out there. Just a little bit.
What is that, a chinchilla? On the 11th, back to that, the 1918, the first... Okay, we've already talked about that. In 2001, 25 new cases of foot and mouth disease were confirmed in the UK, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 163. Yeah, there's a lot of disease on this day. It must just be the time of the year.
Apparently, it's a theme for us today.
Yeah. 2008, San Francisco passed a law requiring chain restaurants with more than 20 locations in California to post nutrition information on their menus. I think that's a good idea for all restaurants, not just chain, but I know that's a little inconvenient for some. In 2011, in Japan, a massive earthquake of magnitude 9.0 struck at 2:46 p.m. off the northeastern coast of Japan. The most powerful earthquake in Japan's history. It triggered powerful tsunami waves up to 133 feet high, which caused a major nuclear accident. That's nuclear, not nuclear. Accident at a power plant. More than 15,000 people were killed and at least 332,000 buildings were destroyed.
Yeah, the videos of that day were just devastating.
Yeah, it was. And we just watched a lot of television to keep track of what was going on. On the 12th of March, it's International School Meals Day.
That's the highest quality meal you can get right there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, what's funny is whenever my son was in elementary school, at least from kindergarten all the way to 5th grade, every Friday I would go have lunch with him. And at the first little bit, I would actually buy the school lunch to eat that with him.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say it sucked. I'm not going to say it didn't. So, yeah, after that, every Friday, I stopped somewhere and took him lunch for the both of us. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to say it sucked. You're going to find another word to describe how badly it sucked.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the 12th is also World Kidney Day because
we need those.
We need those. And it's also Baked Scallops Day, which, you know, baked scallops is part of the Spadino de Mar, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, well, actually, they're wood grilled, not baked, so I was wrong on that.
But they're still going to be good.
Yeah, they're still going to be good. On the 12th in 1841, Orlando Jones of Middlesex, England, received a patent for a process to make starch from rice or corn. On the 12th in 1894, Coca-Cola was first bottled by Joseph A. Biedenheim of Vicksburg, Mississippi. Before that, it was only mixed to order at the soda fountain. In 1912, Juliet Daisy Gordon Lowe founded the Girl Scouts of America in the USA in Savannah, Georgia. And it was only 5 years after that, not necessarily to the day, but around 5 years later, that they first sold the Girl Scout cookies. So
okay.
they were entrepreneur-ish right there off the bat.
I was like, they've been at that a while then.
On the 12th,
addicting the rest of the country with their wicked, wicked confections.
yes. What's
They're
your
drugs.
favorite? What's your favorite one? Are you a Thin Mint guy?
I like the Thin Mints. The what's the ones with the caramel and the coconut and the chocolate?
Oh, the
on top?
macaroons or shoot.
Now I'm not going to be able to remember the name of them.
Scout.
And there's probably 24 people that are going, "It's this. Why don't you
Yeah,
know
they're
that?"
yelling it. They're yelling it.
They're screaming at us.
The
And we just can't hear them.
Samoans
The Samoans. Those are my favorites.
or the caramel
Probably-
delights.
Right behind that would be the peanut butter cookies that are dipped in chocolate.
So the peanut butter patties.
Yeah, those are so good.
Yeah.
I love those.
All right. Where was I? Oh, in 1930, on the 12th, in India, Mahatma Gandhi began a 240-mile, 24-day march to the coastal village of Dandi. Is that Dandi? Whatever. Gandhi and Dandy. To produce salt without paying the salt tax in protest of the British salt monopoly. It was crazy. It was crazy, Brits. And on the 12th, in 1975, my beautiful bride, Stephanie, was born. So if you're doing the math, that's 45 years of awesomeness.
Yes. That was a really good day.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Changed your life
Eventually.
and created a new one.
Yes.
So there we go.
On the 13th of March, it's Coconut Torte Day. Sounds like it could be good. And it's
Could be.
also Ginger Ale Day.
Yeah. Love me some ginger ale.
Yeah. In 1781, on the 13th, the planet Uranus was discovered by Sir William Herschel.
You turned around, and there it was.
That's my anus. I'm a Uranus. In 1852, the first illustration of Uncle Sam was published in a political cartoon by satirist Frank Ballou in the New York Lantern. In 1877, Chester Greenwood was issued the first U.S. patent for earmuffs.
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 Well, I guess at some point they had to be created.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about him needing a telescope to find Uranus.
Would you move? Only thing I see is Uranus.
I didn't really need a telescope to see it.
But now that I have one, we should just call this a black hole, or at least a brown hole.
Oh,
That was in bad taste, and I do not apologize at all for it.
Stop.
In 1884, on the 13th, Standard Time is established in the United States. We should do away with that, I think. There are several states that have passed legislation to do it. We have actually passed legislation to do it. They just haven't done it. Get rid of it. Let it be daylight saving time all the time.
We don't need it.
No, we don't.
When we were an agrarian society, I got it. Why it was important, but it's not now. So, yeah, forget all that.
Forget it. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
In 1893, the original Waldorf Hotel opened. It had 450 rooms and almost 1,000 employees.
Wow.
On the 13th, in 1915, Wilbert Robinson, Uncle Robbie to his friends, manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers, attempted to catch a baseball dropped from an airplane. Someone had substituted a grapefruit instead, which virtually exploded in his glove on impact, covering him with grapefruit pulp and juice, much to the amusement of the team. No word on how much amusement he had from that.
Let's measure that here real quick. We've reached 0.
Yeah. Yes.
I just picture this grapefruit. Yeah,
1 year
From that
later,
kind of height, it would have been a big mess. Yeah.
yeah. I was wondering, a real baseball though dropped from that high. Seems like it could have broken his hand, if not
Oh, it was stupid.
taken it off.
That could have really hurt you. Bad.
Yeah.
Don't do that. We're professionals on this show. We can talk about it, but you may not do this at home.
Yeah. Don't do stupid stuff, and wash your damn hands. On the 13th in 1916, residents of Manitoba passed a referendum to prohibit the sale of alcoholic beverages, the first Canadian province to do so. The law went into effect of June that year, and for that, I think Canadians were stupid. Mm-hmm. On the 13th in 1925, the Butler Act is adopted, prohibiting the teaching of evolution in Tennessee schools.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there are parts of Tennessee that are just amazing and they're beautiful, and yet there's still some backwardness.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and that's everywhere. I'm from West Virginia, so yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Beautiful,
you know what I'm saying.
yet backwards. In 1979, on the 13th, the European Monetary System, the EMS, officially came into effect to foster closer monetary cooperation, leading to a zone of monetary stability in Europe. And it did, and eventually became the EU, and they have the euro. On the 14th, I dig it, it's National Potato Chip Day.
Yeah, chomp.
Mm-hmm.
Love me some chips.
Me too. It's also National Reuben Sandwich Day. I love me a good Reuben. I can't have a whole lot of it because corned beef is high in sodium. However, every once in a while, I am allowed.
For me, it's the sauerkraut. I'm not a big fan of the kraut.
Well, I am a fan of the kraut, and we are having this week, Stephanie and I will be having, instead of hot dogs, we'll be having bratwurst, and I'm going to put some sauerkraut on there.
Now, I will say, if you take the brats and you cook them in a pot with the kraut for a while, I really like the kraut then, because you lose some of that acidic edge to it, and it picks up some of the meat flavor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the way I like it.
The sauerkraut can have the tendency to be overbearing.
Yes.
The 14th, 3/14, is also National Pi Day.
Pi Day. Yep.
It is the mathematical constant. The ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter is approximately 3.14, and then a whole bunch of numbers that follow. Pi Day has been celebrated since at least the late 1980s, and in 2009, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a resolution recognizing Pi Day. And generally, because my wife's birthday is on the 12th, the weekend closest to that, we would celebrate with a pie party.
Oh.
Yeah.
You doing that this time?
We are not doing a pie party. We're just going to have a couple friends over because we're old.
We're just going to have friends over and we're going to eat pie.
We're going to do probably a little bit of pie and play a game called Shit Boots that we play all the time and listen to some records. That's just that's how we roll. On the 14th in 1794, Eli Whitney of New Haven, Connecticut, patented the cotton gin, which separates cotton from the seeds.
That was a pretty big deal then.
It was, and I just hear gin and I go, nice. In 1899,
Don't flavor it with cotton, though.
No. In 1899, on the 14th, Ferdinand Graf von Zeppelin of Stuttgart, Germany, received a patent for the Zeppelin, a navigable balloon. And
You just wanted to say his name again. That's all.
yes, Ferdinand Graf von Zeppelin of Stuttgart, Germany. Yeah. And many, many years later, actually not that many, 60 years later, 67 years later, there was a a band named after his invention.
Yep, there sure was. And they were quite influential to the music world.
Yes, they were.
Almost single-handedly created a whole genre.
Almost, yeah. Although they spelled lead wrong. I don't know why I'm in this mode today of correcting everybody, but
they were wrong.
Yeah,
it's Lead, not LED.
Yeah, it's not like the Zeppelin took them somewhere. Come over here, says the Zeppelin.
It's not a light-emitting diode Zeppelin.
That's right, an LED Zeppelin. In 1903,
people have turned them into an LED Zeppelin somewhere. There's somewhere you can find.
Oh yeah, they have the the light shows.
Yeah.
Dude, is that Freedom Rock, man? Well, turn it up, man.
Turn it up.
On the 14th of 1903, President Theodore Roosevelt established the first U.S. National Bird Sanctuary to protect pelicans and herons nesting on Pelican Island near Sebastian, Florida.
Well.
In 1927, on the 14th, Pan American Airways was founded to operate service between Key West and Havana, I guess, Cuba.
That would have been a pretty quick flight.
It would have. Probably 25 minutes.
I'm betting the in-flight food sucked even then.
Yeah, I would probably say so. In 1962, Union Carbide registered the GLAD trademark for plastic bags.
Interesting. I thought that was further back than 62.
No, not that far back. It's just a slight bit older than you are, my friend.
Just a little bit, yes.
In 2011, the UK bans immigrants from outside the European Economic Area from working as chefs in fast food and takeaway restaurants. I don't know why.
Why?
I do not know.
What would be the point of that?
Do not know that either. I need to look into that, I guess. Or if I'm really not that interested, I won't. In 2014, on the 14th, Quiznos restaurant chain filed for bankruptcy protection.
Toasty.
Do we see many Quiznos anymore?
Not anymore. Now, there was a period of time where I worked where a Quiznos was blocked down the street. And so I frequented them for a while, but I don't work there anymore, and I think that location's gone. I mean, I like the fact that it was a toasted sandwich.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was their whole shtick. We toast it.
Yeah.
Subway does now too.
It looks like the closest ones to us are in Charlotte, Rocky Mount, Virginia, Raleigh, Fort Bragg, 2, Dunn, Bracy, Virginia, Beckley, West Virginia, and Goldsboro. That's the closest ones to us here.
So not nearly as many as we used to have.
Nope.
We used to have a dozen here in the Triad.
No longer. All right, on the 15th, you know what the 15th is?
Is it the Ides of March?
It is the Ides of March.
Et tu brute.
And it is also Pear's Helene Day, which is vanilla ice cream on a poached pear covered with chocolate sauce.
Oh, that does sound good.
And it's also the annual return of the buzzards. You know, Capistrano has their swallows, but Hickney, Ohio has turkey buzzards. They return to the town each year on or about this same day each year for the summer. They winter in Dade County, Florida.
That's Miami.
Yes. And this one is for you, Ray. I usually don't do weekly holidays, but the 15th, this coming Sunday, starts American Chocolate Week.
Yes! All week long. All chocolate. All the time.
All the time. But wait, there's more.
Good.
More chocolate.
We need it.
More chocolate.
There's no such thing as too much chocolate.
Unless you're a dog.
Okay. But for us For us peeps.
for people.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're allergic to it, you should stay away from it. But then, if you are allergic to it, then we are not talking to you anyway.
That's exactly right.
That's right. So just
weren't
ignore
talking
the
to those allergic folks.
last statements.
I mean, we love them and all, but no, we're not talking about them.
Yeah, we're sorry that you're allergic to it, but also glad we're not.
And that just means more chocolate for us. Yeah.
Yay, I'll take his. In 19, I'm sorry, no, let's back up. On the 15th, in 44 BC,
Wow, okay, we're really going back now.
Julius Caesar was assassinated by a group of Roman senators.
Yep. Et tu, Brute.
And he was told to beware the Ides of March.
He didn't pay attention. Paid him in the planet.
And on the other hand of that, the song Vehicle from Ides of March. That's a good song.
I am not familiar with that.
If you heard it, you would be, oh, yeah.
Probably would.
In 1937, the first blood bank is established in Chicago, Illinois at Cook County Hospital on the 15th. Cook County. In 1965, on the 15th, Alan Stillman opened the first TGI Fridays restaurant at First Avenue and 63rd Street in New York City.
I'm not going to get excited about that because, to me,
yeah,
there's a restaurant based on mediocrity.
It's something. Let me think. Tell this guy it's food. That's what they're telling somebody in the kitchen. TGI Friday is, or TGIF is tell this guy it's food. And I would have thought this would have gone back further, and I think we had this discussion last year, but on the 15th in 1980, McDonald's test marketed Chicken McNuggets for the first time in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh.
They were so popular that they had to look for a second supplier of them.
I went to work for McDonald's shortly after that in high school, and we had chicken nuggets then.
Yeah.
In fact, we had a warming drawer where we would, fry them up and put them in there to keep them until we served them. And most of us would just walk by on a pretty regular basis and swipe one out of there and keep them going.
Yeah.
Snack on them.
Since you have experience at McDonald's, do you know the 4 shapes of the Chicken McNuggets?
I do not. I probably should have remembered that all these years later.
Well, there's bone, bell, ball, and boot.
Yes.
That's the 4 shapes of Chicken McNuggets.
Because it's not really like chicken that we think of as chicken. It's mashed up and pushed into a shape.
It truly is chicken, yet it's not the way you're right. It's mangled and pressed and then cut from die, basically.
Yeah. Not the way we would fix it at home if we were going to prepare chicken in a nugget form.
No, we call those tenders.
Yes. And you only get 2 tenders in a chicken.
Yeah. So in 2004, on the 15th, Martha Stewart resigned from the board of Martha Stewart Living Omnimedia 10 days after her conviction in a stock scandal. Well, crap, I need to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all your food holidays and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ealer at Food Reference for making us chuckle, roll our eyes, learn a little bit of something, and getting to say Ferdinand Graf von Zeppelin of Stuttgart, Germany again.
And you say it so well, like, you could have been German.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is going back on my 23andMe, when I started off on 23andMe, I was all British, and now I have moved to about 25% German.
Really?
Yeah. And
Cool.
that will change over time, because as they collect more samples and they realize where things come from, that's how they're getting that data. And I tend to believe it could be true. Of course, my number one match would be Greater London, and then a couple other places, and then get over to, I believe even Stuttgart might be one of the places, but I have a couple of places in Germany that are really, they find traces of my DNA there.
Cool. Yeah, I've got a little German in me as well. My grandmother on my dad's side was a Klefaker.
Oh, Klefaker.
Yeah, she was Corabelle Klefaker. Like, I can see why you'd have been happy getting married to a guy whose name was Morgan.
I asked Stephanie if she had any beaming in her, and she says no. And I said, "You want some?"
Okay, we're no longer a family show. Come back next week. We'll have the kiddie corner. Then the kids can leave. We'll have the adult conversation.
We're no longer at the kids' table.
Yeah, no. We've left the kids' table behind.
All right. Well, the Man Who Went to Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables Network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Apartment 5B, Beeswax, Final and More, Sipping NC, and Wheeler's Dog. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You can also find social media links to each one there as well. We'd greatly appreciate it if you visit our sponsors, like Carrabba's Italian Grill, located 587 South Stratford Road. Let Daniel demonstrate what a responsible, large-scale family of restaurant looks like. Carrabba's takes the community it serves very seriously. In fact, you can track Daniel's his charitable just participation if you follow him on Instagram. He's not like he's bragging about it, but you know what? If he was, that's okay, because he's doing good stuff. So it's not bragging if it's actually beneficial to a lot of people.
But I think it's fair to say that Daniel's not trying to draw attention to what he's doing.
No.
It's what they're doing.
Daniel's certainly not a self-serving person. I mean, okay, does it make him feel good? Yes. Is that kind of selfish? Maybe. But not him being selfish. We all want to feel good, right? So it's not selfish. And he just likes helping others. And when people call me and say, hey, you know, I have this charity that I'm going to do, who should I first place I say is Carrabba's.
Talk to Daniel.
Yeah, go talk to Daniel. You know, having a franchisee, a fantastic franchisee like Daniel, does not suck to have in this town. They are a gem. I don't care if people want to call them a chain. They're not a chain. They're a responsible, large-scale family of restaurants that happen to get big, you know, and he's doing fine work over there. Follow Carrabba's on social media and on Carrabba's.com, and look for the link to the wine dinners on the blog post. Washington Perk and Provision Company, located at 301 West 4th Street. You find a little bit of everything at the Perk: local fruits, veggies, meat, and dairy from local sources. Bingo Bango sodas made right here in Winston-Salem. Wolfie's custard and much more. Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they are Washington Perk, and at one more time, at Washington Perk _DTWS on Instagram. My mouth was open, but my brain was not allowing anything to come out. And then there's
it was fun to watch.
The Humblebee shop, and she's going to be closed to the middle of this month, I think I saw.
Oh, okay.
At 1003 Brookstown Avenue in the west end of downtown. You need to go to Instagram and see what she's doing. Although, like I said, there was a mention that it would be closed. I don't know if they're remodeling, what they're doing. I need to check in on her. She's whipping up the batter on some delicious desserts, cakes, and muffins, be it regular, vegan, or gluten-free. The Humblebee shop wants to challenge your perception of Scratch Made and leave you with an experience you couldn't possibly forget. For more information, follow them on Facebook and Instagram, or visit thehumblebeeshop.co.
That's SHOPPE.co.
Keep an eye on the blog and this podcast to find out more about food happenings and news around town. If you have any food news, send us an email. If you do that still, tim@themanwhoatetown.com, or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Instant Messengers. Follow us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man Who Number 8 the Town. On Instagram, we are Man Who Ate the Town. And now, again, we invite you to call and leave a voicemail for the podcast, actually any podcast on the TLD network. You can call 336-422-6862. What is that, Ray? 336-422-NUMB. That's right.
Numb. Comfortably numb.
So leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the podcast. Again, 336-422-NUMB, 6862. And again, we're going to remind the listeners, wash your damn hands.
Just in case you didn't get that message earlier.
We can't say that enough. That is the number one method of quelling the spread of any disease is washing your hands.
Any
disease.
Doesn't have anything to do with currents. That's just keep your hands clean.
Yeah, and people out buying extra toilet paper, but what were you doing before?
I don't want to know. I really don't.
It's gross. Okay. Well, anyway, my name is Tim.
My name's Ray.
And we are closing the recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit.
Yamas.
The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the Man Who Ate the Town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.